In this video, we're going to go over the notes for how to create an intro and outro, and we're also going to create the intro and outro as we work. So when you come to WeVideo, you'll need to sign in with Google. Make sure you select your account, and then you should be taken to your dashboard. Mine starts a little different than yours, but we always want to come to our dashboard. And the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go create a new video. Create a new video. You want to always make sure that your new video is created in your projects. If you happen to not see this, you'll go back to the dashboard, click on projects, and then you should have in My Projects, and you'll just click Start Creating. But you want to make sure that you're in My Projects. And so once I'm in My Projects, I can do a new video edit, and I always select Blank Edit to get started. And so that's our first step in our notes. So you should have the top part filled out. Welcome, or our unit is WeVideo. I can use WeVideo to create an intro and outro. Make sure you put the correct date on here. So I'm doing this on September 10th. Whatever the date is for you, make sure you do that. And I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see my notes a little bit easier. And so the very first thing we did was we went into WeVideo and we clicked Create a New Video. And so that was step number 1. And we made sure that it was a blank edit. So it's a brand new video and it's blank. Step 2 will be for us to go into the timeline and to rename it. So I'm going to come back here to WeVideo, and I can see that I have a timeline down here. I have a playhead that currently does not move. The reason it doesn't move is because I don't have any video. And so I can take a video and I can put it on video 2 or video 1. I cannot put it down here with audio, and you can tell the difference between audio and videos because this clearly looks like a video and this one has the wave links of the audio. So this is sound and it cannot go on the video tracks, but it can come down here under audio. You can always add another audio or video track. You can just select one and then they will stack them on top of each other. So right now, if I remove this one, if I put this video on top of the other video, as soon as the video starts playing, okay, we can no longer see the student anymore because this video is layered on top of the bottom one. So we definitely need to make sure that we're putting things in the correct places, and that's why we're going to name them. So we're going to come over here to video 1 and we're going to name it background. And then we'll come back to our notes. We're going to rename video 2 to text because we're going to have text on top of a background. And so you've named video 1, which is the bottom layer, background, rename video 2, text. And then we're going to take a look at the next couple of steps. So then we will go to the Backgrounds tab, which looks like this, or we will go to the Stock Media tab, which looks like a little star, to find a background. So we just want to pick a background, and we're probably going to put it on that background layer that we just renamed. And so we'll take a look at those notes. Yep, drag your chosen background to the background layer of your timeline. So make sure you get your notes filled out, and then we'll come here to WeVideo to do those things. So we've got background. We know we need to name video to text. And then we're going to go to either stock media, which is the star, to find a background, or we're going to go to backgrounds to find a background. The difference between these two things, they all have a time on them, when like how long they're going to play, but backgrounds will continue to play continuously forever and ever and ever. So they can be stretched forever. In the stock media, you have lots of choices. Right now, this is just preset to say flag. We can type in the word beach. So maybe I want to have a beach background, or maybe I want to have a sunrise. But this one's only going to be 30 seconds. This one's only going to be 12. And some of them are really hard to loop because they just restart. And so it's hard to make it look like it's a continuous loop, because when I play this one, I can't stretch it. Okay, and it starts like this. Okay, and it ends with the video completely like panned up. So if I wanted this video again and I want it to look the same, then I would just grab it and stick it right next to each other. But when they go from one video to the next video, the video jumps. And so it doesn't look as seamless as this one that I can just continually stretch, and it's always going to look the same because it's on a loop and you can continue to stretch it. So that's the difference between backgrounds and stock media. So I'm going to get rid of both of these, and we're going to continue with picking a background. So I think I am going to use this blue background, and we always start here at the 0, and now you can see that I can move my playhead. Okay, And some other things that I can see with my playhead is I can use the scissors and I can cut video. I can move it around. And I can do Control Z to uncut and to unmove. And then you can also just grab the edge of your video and you can stretch it out or make it shorter. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this and bring it down here again. And it's like 10 seconds and I'm going to stretch it for a little bit so I have plenty of room. So now we're going to come back to our notes and see what we need to do next. So number 6 is you're going to go to the text tab, so it looks like this, and you're going to select a text animation. And then just like we chose our background and we dragged the background layer, step number 7 is to drag that text animation to the text layer of our timeline. So let's go do that. So we have the background, we're going to come here to text, and we have lots of text options. Okay, so when you click on them, they show you over here in the preview what it's going to look like. And it just runs through the video. And so it's your choice what you choose to use. Okay, and so you just pick one that you like, drag it down, and set it right here, and then you can play this and see how it looks. Okay, it looks like some of that text is going to be a little hard to read on this background, so I'll probably have to change that. And then it also right now does not go as long as my words. Okay, so I have text. I've got it on our text layer. And so let me look at the other ones. We've got static, which means that they don't move, so that's why it's not showing me anything. The simple text is the one that's going to allow you to change backgrounds and colors. So if you can't find something in motion that is easy to read, static is what you want to go with because you have a lot more abilities to change and functionality with that. End credits that we'll use later at the end of our broadcast, that's also in static. And then we have end season, and they have different holidays, like Halloween, and they have different fonts that you can change. And then we also have callouts, which are circles and air bubbles and different things we can use. So we've got our text layer. Let's go back to our notes. Number 7 was drag that text layer to, or sorry, grab that text animation to our text layer. And now we're in 8. In the timeline, hover over your text animation and click on the 3 little lines, then click the pencil. Sounds like we're going to be changing our text animation. So when we come down here to WeVideo, when we click on one of these, we have 3 little lines and we have a pencil. When I click on the background, the pencil just shows up. So you're just looking for that edit tool because we're going to change this to be the intro. So I'm going to the pencil, and now I can see that I've got boxes here that have those same words, and I can see the colors. So let's see what we want to change this to. So number 9 says now you're going to change the text to say welcome to Bingham Broadcasting, and then click Save the Changes. So we can also change the color when we're ready to do that. Please make sure that you are copying this down correctly because we want to make sure that we spell all 4 of these words correctly. So this is exactly how they should be spelled. Welcome to Bingham Broadcasting. So add that to your notes. And now we're ready to come in here and change. So if I click in this box, it did say lucky is win, but I'm just going to say welcome to. And I want to leave the center one blank. So I'm going to come over here and say Bingham Broadcasting, making sure I spelled it correctly. But I still have that word preparation in there, and I don't want that, but I didn't even touch this box, but it's still there. So if you have a box that's like that, you just have to act like you're typing, and then delete it, and it will put an empty space there. And so now I want to change the colors to something that's going to be a little bit easier for people to read. And you can also choose the font down here if you'd like. Maybe make them the same one. So you have the ability to change all of those. You also have the ability to make this box and font bigger. And then you can always play it to see what it looks like. And the fonts that move close out. So now that I have it the way that I want it, I'm going to click Save Changes. And so now we're ready to go back to our text, which is our notes. And so now that we have our background and we have our text, we're going to add music. So we're going to click on the audio tab and we're going to find a song that we feel like goes with our intro. And then just like the other 2, we're going to drag it down to its appropriate layer. And so we're going to drag the song of our choice down to the audio 1 layer. So coming back into WeVideo. And so now we're going to find audio. And we have free music, and there are lots and lots of options here. But then we have premium music, and there are even more options here. So try to expand past the very first song. So we hear that one a lot. Do not pick a sound effect because we don't need traffic or dogs barking in our background, but we do need a song. Okay, so you can click on them and listen to them, and then you can drag them down to audio. And so it should play like this. Okay, so let's take a look at our notes. So now we have a song. Now what does it want us to do? We need to click and drag every layer so that they are exactly 7 seconds long. So our entire intro and outros, they have to be 7 seconds long. So we need to come back to WeVideo, and right now I can see 10 seconds, I can see 20 seconds, 40 seconds. If you come down here in the bottom corner, there's a zoom in and a zoom out. You can just slide the bar so that you can see them. So now I can see every 12 milliseconds. So I need to find 7. Okay, and so right here is exactly 7 seconds, and I have some things that are too long. So I need to like scrunch the rest of these and only make them 7 seconds long. And I want to do that all at the same time. So right now, if I click the scissors, my music is selected and it's orange. So when I hit the scissors, it did not cut my top layer, it only cut my music. So I'm going to Control Z to undo, and I'm going to do this again, but this time I'm going to click in this empty space so that nothing is selected, and when I hit the scissors, both have been cut. So now I can throw the rest of this away because I don't need it, and I can stretch out my words so that they are exactly 7 seconds long. So if I come all the way here, it goes from 0 all the way to 7. So now let's take a look back at our notes. And so the next step says that each layer has to have 1 second where it fades out. So at the end it needs to fade out by 1 second, and in order to do that we have to click our fade options, which looks like this. It's an icon that looks just like that. And when we're looking at our audio, okay, we're going to be looking for a speaker instead of this option. So to fade out everything by 1 second, when we come to WeVideo, we're going to look for our pencil and look for those fade options. Okay, and so this fade, we've got in and we've got out. So if I put a 1 right here, it's going to fade out for 1 second. I'm going to do the same thing for the background layer. And so right now this is what it looks like. And so everything just fades out to not be there anymore, so it kind of like fades to black. We need to do the same thing to the music to show everybody that their intro is over and it's ready to start the next segment of the broadcast. So right now this is what our intro looks like. Okay, and it fades out. So now let's see what we need to do in our notes. So step number 14 says now we're going to click the Finish tab. So we are ready to finish this video, have it go into our Google Drive so that we can submit it in Canvas. So we're going to click the Finish button. We're going to go through the rest of these steps. We're going to write intro, your first and your last name, and the word intro. Okay, so it should be looking like this. So you're going to name your intro. You should write your first name and then your last name and then a dash to say intro. So you're going to name this your first and last name intro. And then there's going to be a button that says Google Drive. It looks just like this. And you're going to select that, and then you'll be able to select the export button. And that will complete your intro. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're done. We've watched it. It met all the requirements. I'm going to click Finish. I'm going to name it click Set. Make sure it's named right up here. I don't need to mess with any of this, but I do need to select that Google Drive button. So I have the Google Drive button selected. This is WeVideo, so it's automatically selected. Your thumbnail right now doesn't matter because we're going to do stuff with it later, and then you're going to click Export. And so this is now creating a video that's 7 seconds long, that has the music, has the text, and it's going to put it in your Google Drive, and it's going to create a folder called WeVideo.